You cannot serve with an empty cup, right? If you keep serving from an empty cup, you will not just emotionally, but physically and mentally burn yourself out. And I'm sure many people have heard this. You will be no good if you cannot serve at all.
Welcome to the Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Jane.
Welcome to the show, friend. I am thrilled to have my best friend Brandee here with us today. Brandee's my everything. She has been my therapist. She's been my spiritual leader and my best friend. And I rely on her so much. So I am excited that you get to share her wisdom too. So we are going to talk about self-empowerment. Like, what's self-empowerment? But have you ever felt like, I just don't know where to turn? I just don't know where to go. I'm out of energy. I'm out of everything and I'm on empty. I don't know how many times I've felt that. And you just go, how do I turn it around? How do I empower myself to keep moving, but not on fumes, but fuel myself and fuel it where I can all of a sudden be running fast and enjoyable? And that's what Brandee's going to help us is how do we make that mind switch change? How do we move into self-empowerment? But before we get started, we're going to get a quick word from our sponsor. When we come back, Brandee, help me find that empowerment. We'll be right back.
This is Adam Adams, co-founder of Optimized LLC, where we take the guesswork out of your health. If you're feeling exhausted, struggling with weight, or just not feeling yourself anymore, your hormones might be the problem. And that's why we test, not guess. Analyzing your blood work to pinpoint exactly what's holding you back. At Optimized LLC, we help you rebalance your hormones, boost energy, and reclaim your life. Don't settle for normal. Aim for optimized. Just go to optimized.com to book your free introductory coaching call. It's a free call to help you take the first step toward feeling your best.
All right. It's all up to you now, girlfriend. We can do this. What is that thing? How can I stop being frazzled all the time and gain back my own personal power?
So the other day, something came to me, and it's this responsibility. And if you can pause for just a moment through self-observation and ask this question. If the responsibility is something that is draining me, it should not be my responsibility. If it's something that's empowering me, then it's my responsibility. So then you have to pause and go and observe your life and what does drain you and what does give you energy. Now, sometimes we feel like the things that we're supposed to do are draining, but we keep doing it because we're told that we're supposed to. But what if you had an opportunity through that thing, like I need to take care of a loved one or a family member, and you pause and go, okay, how can I help take care of them in a way that will empower me, that will give me energy, but not in a way that will drain me? And so then becoming creative in how you're showing up for your loved ones or other people so that you can show up for yourself as well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But sometimes it's like, oh my God, but I feel like I'm obligated. Yeah, sure, I could hire someone to go babysit my grandkids for me, and I'm out of energy and I don't have time. Which is where I love the things that I really want to love and not look at it as like, oh, I don't have the energy.
So looking at it from a perspective of creativity. So take a pause back and observe and go, well, what do I want to do? If I didn't have to worry about my grandbabies or my grandparents or my parents or my husband or my children or employees or all these other people that might need your assistance or your help or your support, what would I do today? So if your answer is, I'd go get a pedicure, I would go on a walk, I would go swimming, I would go read, maybe take that and do it with them. So you have a way to incorporate what you want to do into what you feel like you have to do. Now, I cannot take away someone's feelings of obligation because sometimes it is true. Sometimes you do have an obligation that no one else would step up to the plate for, right? But also sometimes we think that, but we don't ask for help. We don't ask for a support system. We don't ask for community. We just do because we know we can do, but maybe we don't have to do. So again, taking a step back and observing the whole situation and going, no, I really want to spend time with my grandbabies today, but I just can't, but I can tomorrow. Well, what do I want to do? I want to go to the park. I want to go just sit with nature. I want to bring my grandchildren into that, or someone calls you and asks for help. And you go, well, do I have the capacity today to do that? And if you don't have the capacity, it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say, I cannot do that for you today. However, I can do that for you tomorrow. Right. And so we all often think that if someone asks for our help now, that we must respond now. But we are allowed to pause. We're allowed to observe the whole circumstance, including ourselves, asking what our needs are in the situation. Because what if you say to yourself, what would I do right now if I didn't have to worry about someone else's opinions or beliefs? I wouldn't help them today. That doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means you wouldn't help them today. Well, can I
And
help them today? Well, yeah, I can. I don't want to, but I will because it becomes your choice, or I won't. I'll do it tomorrow. So part of this pausing in this observing empowers you to remember what you need because you cannot serve with an empty cup, right? If you keep serving from an empty cup, you will not just emotionally, but physically and mentally burn yourself out. And I'm sure many people have heard this. You will be no good if you cannot serve at all. So you have to be the one that observes your cup. You have to be the one that pauses and refills your cup so that you can serve. And I'm telling you, the people that you serve, whether it's your children, your grandchildren, your husband, your work, they will find much more joy and satisfaction if you're serving from a full cup than an empty cup.
you know, I don't just expect my car to keep going without allowing a fill up. I don't expect my car to keep going without taking every so many 1,000-mile oil change. I do those things for my car because they're obvious. But how do I know how to fill up my own cup? I know I'm running on fumes. I know I'm about ready to crash, but I don't know where the gas tank is. I don't know where the gas station is. How do I find those?
What that tells me is that person was never taught that they have needs, that everything outside of them has needs. So remembering that you have needs is probably the first step, is to pause and go, wait a minute, let me do a self-check. Like you have to make it a habit because if you're not used to it and you've been running and running and running for other people, and sometimes you do something for yourself. Oh, I'm going to grab myself a piece of chocolate. Whew, sometimes. But that sometimes your cup is still emptying faster than you're filling it up. So I make it a ritual every morning to ask myself, what do I need? What does Brandee need today? Before serving anything else, because I am a goddess, I am a queen. You're a god or a king. So you must stop and ask, what do I need first? Now, as a parent myself, I may go, I need to take a bath today. And then I look at my children and realize everything I need to do for them and go, okay, well, I can give myself a bath today, but I can tomorrow. And I make sure that I do it the next day because maybe that day they need more tending to, or I don't have time. That's okay. But at least I'm acknowledging, oh, I need this. I need a massage. I need to get away and just go to a hotel by myself for a few days. Okay, I can't do it this week. I can't do it next week, but I can, and put it on your calendar. I can in 3 weeks. Because the greatest lesson I learned was when I was in the military and they moved my base from Utah to New Mexico. And my philosophy was serve, 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 serve. And when I was forced to go away from my family, I sat in silence and I realized how much of myself I did not know.
Mm.
And then when I got to know myself during that away time, I came back a better mom, a better wife, a better granddaughter, a better niece, a better employee, a better boss, because I filled my cup. So for me, through that observation, I realized every few months I need just to be alone. I need to be away. I need to do something I love to do. And then I can go for 6 months again. But if I don't get that, then I start to, and of course, I start to drain and empty my cup. And of course, between those moments, I weave in other self care, massage, um, and I don't put it on the back burner because you can't, because you cannot serve when you're not filled. Period. That's why in my book, Love Thyself, the first commandment is to love thyself. To get up in the morning and go, what does Brandee need? And then I go to, okay, I need a bath at some point this week. Okay, what does my husband need? What does my children need? What does my grandparent need? What do my employees need? What does this job need? And then I answer those questions, but I always put me first so that I can. But that comes from self observation, right? You have to first observe what is on your plate, what is happening, and from there find solutions. Do you ever like say, oh, let's do this? And then you don't put it on your calendar and you don't put it on your calendar. 6 months
Yes.
comes by. So I say, just like you would schedule a friend or an event or a date, you do the same. If you wake up that morning and go, what do I need? I need to get away, book it right away, right? Don't ignore yourself. The next morning, you might do the same thing. What do I need? Oh, I already found that solution. And you might not need anything because you want to serve and you're okay with that. But if you don't stop and pause and ask, what do I need? You cannot find the solutions to set the boundaries, to give yourself permission to accept that maybe you don't want to do said thing and maybe you do want to ask someone else to do it. Or tell
Yeah.
that person no for today. That's okay. They'll be okay. I mean, short of if it's life threatening, that's a whole different. That's a whole different thing, you know. And your kids are depending on their ages and their levels is different too. But if you keep going and you don't push that pause, that phrase is "you will be good to nobody if you're dead." It's true. Or, people who don't listen to their bodies, they don't listen to their burnout, they will get sick. They'll get headaches, pounding headaches, they'll get backaches, they'll get knee aches, they'll get something that says you cannot go anymore. So they're forced by their own physical body to stop, to slow down. So before you get to that point, observe. What do I need? What does my body need? What does my mind need? What does my spirit need?
Yeah. I know that there's times when I've gone, I need something, but I don't know what it is. So I will experiment or I'll start reflecting every night, like, what's draining me? What is it that's going on? And if I can kind of pinpoint it, it's like, oh, I just need away from George. That guy drains me, and you can start understanding where some of your energies are going. Like, I usually can get through the days just fine. And all of a sudden I had a bad day. What was it?
Yeah.
And when you can start identifying what it was, now you can start identifying what I can fix. What do I need? I need to stay away from George, or I need to find a way to relate to George, you know,
Yeah.
and, find that power within yourself.
If we go back to that phrase, that just the question, if it's draining, it's not your responsibility. If it's empowering, it is your responsibility. So say you do have something that you go, oh, what is draining me? This task, this situation is draining me, but you're not willing to let it go. Then how do I find a way to bring empowerment into it? How do I find a way to bring joy into it?
Mhm.
Right? Like there's certain things we to the core know we're not going to ever let go. Whether it's taking care of someone we love, or that's probably the biggest thing, taking care of someone we care about. From children to grandparents to parents to your spouse, then you might have to change your perspective, your mindset on something, right? So you go in and go, okay, I can let this aspect of this go, and I want to start looking at it from this perspective, right? And My husband is amazing support system, 100% amazing support system. But I find the best way for him to support me is for me to simply ask for what I need. But if I held on to, he should know what I want, for example, like a lot of couples, they just should know, then you become disappointed and drained in the fight when you can just shift that perspective to, I'm grateful for my husband showing up when I ask him and need him to.
Yeah, I
Right?
love that because we do need to be okay with asking. Always say, I'm not a mind reader. Well, please figure it out.
Sometimes you wish they were, but assumptions, as Gottman would say, is one of the killers of relationships in all relationships. When we assume someone should know that we're drained, or someone assumes that we're too busy, or someone assumes blank, it really does hurt. And if you could just ask for what you need. And I think a lot of times working individuals who work hard, who strive, who go, 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 how they see the world is just different than someone who does it from a slower perspective. Not bad, but they work at a different pace, right? And so if we assume that they should see the world the way we do, then you create a gap because how I see the world, because my husband says I just go, 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 go. My husband's more like chill, take some time, then go. And it's not wrong, nor is the way I'm living wrong, but he has to change his perspective to what I need and adjust a little bit of what how he is to meet my needs, and I have to adjust my thinking to how he works. Because if not, you can create a battle when a battle is not needed,
Yeah,
right?
I'm thinking it's like you want to be on the expressway. I want to be done. I'm going to stay focused and I want to be on the scenic route and I want to enjoy the journey and get there when we get there. And we all have that difference. And when you tune in and you finally realize what they is, it's so much easier to blend. So it's like, know thyself.
Yeah,
Because if you don't understand what makes you tick, it's going to be harder to understand what makes somebody else tick.
100%. Something's dropping in, and as you know, that happens with me a lot, but the word burdened keeps coming in. And what I'm getting is we have to stop thinking that we're a burden when we need help.
Mm.
Oftentimes, the strongest individual who works and go, 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 there's a belief that if they ask for help or if they say no, that they become the burden. And so if there's a belief within you that either you're a burden if you ask for help or you're a burden if you say no or if you pause, that story might need to be changed to I do have needs. I'm not a burden. Um, does that make sense? Because I just keep seeing someone working really hard and they work, 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 and they're so used to getting stuff done on their pace that there's this belief that if I ask for help, if I pause, or if I say no, I'll either become a burden to someone else or I'll create a burden.
I'm going to use my mom as an example on this one because my mom was the most supporting and giving and helpful person in the world. She would come help you do anything. And that's what brought her joy. But the moment she needed help, she felt like she was a burden. And it's like, Mom, do you feel like when you come help me do this, I'm a burden? When you're helping one of my other siblings do X, they're a burden? When they wanna go on vacation and you stay with their kids, is that a burden? You are not a burden. And I don't know if she ever understood it in her on earth, but she was a joy, such a joy to be around, and she just lightened everybody's path. But she felt if she had one tiny need, it was a burden. And I know I would come home from work sometimes so stressed. I just want to ask, can I just put my head on your lap? And I'm like, that would just not be right. So I just self take care of myself. And that one little thing, maybe for 5 minutes, I could have felt totally embraced with love. I would go off and sit in my little corner and do my own thing. And that's not helping you. You are responsible for you. And I'm responsible for me. And when we know ourselves and know our needs, then we can share those. And that's not a burden. What if your kid said, Mom, could I put my head on your lap? You would feel honored. I didn't honor him by giving him that until, you learn and you grow. And you go, I can give him that freely.
Well, here's another thing is we often assume that asking for help is putting someone out or that we become a burden. But what if it's their opportunity to serve too? Right. And so, like you said, if you asked your mom, can I put my head on your lap? You gave her an opportunity to pause and to serve in the ways she probably loved the most, which is being a mom. Like I'm a mom of 8 amazing children, and I can't imagine uh, anything else. I really do love my children. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not, but if my children said, I need blank, and I knew it was a delight, that would be an honor, right?
Hmm. Any one of my kids, if I know they feel, Mom, I just need a hug today. Okay. I'm happy to give that. That's not a burden. And so asking for help is, it, ah, it's not. People love to help, just like you do.
So getting this other drop in is so we talked about the burden part, right? And people want to serve and they want to. It's important to receive. I will ask people in a class. I'll say, "I'd like you to raise your hand if you love serving," and everyone raises their hand. And then I ask, "How many of you guys like to receive?" And people will not raise their hand. And then I say, "Well, who are you to serve if no one receives?" Right? Because if everyone's serving and no one's receiving, then who are we serving?
Mm,
And part of that is knowing that we need to serve ourselves. And there's selfishness, and that's not what I'm talking about. There's a different level. We should all be selfish to a degree, by the way, right? Because how else do we attend to our cup? If I have to say I'm off limits today because I need to get my power back, I need to rest, I need to. I had a friend. She says, "Hey, we're having this event. Can you come? It's in 2 days." And I said, "I cannot come. I'm going to be too tired." She goes. She starts laughing and she goes, "But it's in 2 days. How do you know you're going to be tired?" I said, "Because I don't stop until the night before. And I know myself enough to know that I'm going to need to rest that night." Right? So you know thyself aware enough to know what your limits are and how far you can push yourself, but also knowing you don't have to make an excuse. I'm going to be tired or I am tired or I need to reset. That's empowerment, not just for you, but the person in front of you too, because it's a spark of light for them to learn boundaries, to know that they are also allowed to set them. And if someone gets mad because you say, I cannot do it today, let them be mad. Like Mel Robbins would say, let them be mad because it's their experience to have, but hold your space. Because in that moment, you might have turned on a spark of light for that being who maybe has never said no before. It might take them back. What? You just told me no? And they get mad. They have their process. Later they go, I learned a very important thing from Laura Jane today. I learned that I can say no because she said no to me. That taught me I'm allowed to say no, right? I
ah,
mean, we're a bunch of gods and goddesses with this beautiful light who are sparking the light in other people, helping each other remember our power. I don't know where along the way, I mean, we can make assumptions here that we were taught to only serve external and not ourselves. That's not a true balance. The tree of life, the middle pillar would say we have two extremes, right? Mercy and severity. And these two extremes is you just serve, 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 serve everyone else. The other side is just serve, 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 serve myself. And the middle pillar is integrating both.
mm,
How do I serve myself and others from a full cup and not an empty one?
yeah. And I like that because, a lot of us will do that quick refill. It's not a whole fill. It's, okay, I'm going to get $5 in my tank so I can go for another day. And sometimes it's okay. That's not a
Mhm.
bad thing. But it is time. Knowing I do need to do a full fill up. I
Mm,
do need to have a whole maintenance cycle on my whole body. Whatever your car would do, you can do too. And
mm.
taking care of yourself and giving yourself permission. Your car doesn't say, "Oh, sorry, I need gas and you're going to have to stop." It just says, "I need gas." Uh, We don't have to apologize for our needs.
But it's funny, just she laughed but she got it, and she just said, "Okay, I like it." But we're not given that permission. So, what would it feel like to be accountable to yourself? And when someone says that I need blank, and you go, you know, I can do at this time because I planned on going to a class or getting a massage or getting yoga or going for a walk, and I will come see you after. And if that person gets mad, it's something they need to process, not you.
Yeah. And it goes to that person who says you're so selfish is the person who wants something from
Mhm.
you. Uh,
Yep.
it's just if you think about it, they are at that moment the one being selfish. It's they want something from me. I don't have it to give. I might have some, but I know where it's needed and it's already pre-spoken for. And just being able to acknowledge that guilt when someone else is trying to make you feel guilty for not
Yeah.
helping them, you then know that you're doing okay. It's
Yep.
okay.
And I agree.
I love that. It's okay to say no or say yes to yourself. If you have to turn it around so that you're saying yes, there's always a yes because it's the other side of no. And you just say, I have to decline this invitation because I'm saying yes to me
Yes.
is just as powerful as saying, no, I can't go. There's power in knowing who you are and what you need.
So I can tell my kids might ask me to do something uh, at 9 o'clock at night. Mom, can you please sew this on? And I'll say, yes, but not today because I'm really tired and I need to go to bed. But remind me and I'll help you tomorrow or the next day, type of thing. But it teaches them boundaries too, to learn how to say no and assess my kids will tell me, hey, can you go do this? No, I don't want to. And I'll say, I understand you don't want to take the garbage out, but we're doing a team family activity right now. And it's part of our responsibility to do what we don't like. But thank you for sharing that you're not in the mood. Yeah. Because it teaches them that they have needs too, so they can say no and to keep them empowered, and find that balance between serving and receiving and helping out, but also saying what you want, right? Like you said, accountability on both parts. So we're taught not to. We're taught to just listen to our parents and you don't question them and you just do what they ask. And if parents can take a moment when their kids say no, number one, know that's a very healthy part of human development and to acknowledge that and be grateful. Thank you for saying that. I can understand that. Then you're going to teach your kids what you've always needed to be taught, that you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, I can't do it today, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But again, it's that acronym STOP, STOP. Stop, think about what you're thinking about, observe and find opportunities and solutions, and then progress, right? Stop, ST, think about what's happening. O, observe and find options. And P, progress.
Mm.
We don't
It's
always have to jump in. We can pause.
Pausing is such a beautiful thing because, it's people say breathe. And what they mean is pay attention to your breath. Take a moment. It's okay. And just that feeling of it's like of self. When I breathe, I'm now inside my body instead of everywhere else. And yeah, I breathe all day long, but when I consciously pay attention to it, and it's such a peaceful moment and just feeling it It's like,
I like the way I feel now.
yes. You do, and I do. I mean, I know we all have a little bit different, things that feed us. Breath. Can't live without it.
So true.
Brandy,
So
you
true.
are so fun to talk to, and I really, really, really like how this went from just self-empowerment to really owning your boundaries and owning your responses and learning those responses. You just don't, well, some people can just pull them out and just whip up a good response. But the more you know, the more you observe, and the more you pay attention to you and your needs, the better you're going to, the more likely you're going to get them because now you know them. If you don't know what you're shopping for, you just need to get dinner and you're just looking at everything to spark an idea, you can be in the grocery store for 2 friggin' hours and you still don't have dinner on the table. But when you go and you know what you need, it's moments and you're able to finish the shopping and dinner's on the table in that same 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so just that moment of learning who you are and what you need and asking, so important.
And giving yourself permission that you're allowed to change your mind.
Yes.
Yep.
I'd love to be able to change my mind.
'Cause, this was the answer yesterday or a year ago or when we were younger, but if we stay too loyal to that, then we restrict ourselves. So being able to say, yeah, yesterday I was in the mood, but today I'm not, or yeah, that's how you used to respond. That's not how I'm responding anymore. Because you're growing as a human being, you're progressing. So you shouldn't stay stagnant. You should always be progressing, which means your perspective should be changing.
Every moment you get the opportunity to change your goals,
Yeah.
and you don't have to stay like I said this and I'm going to be this and never change. And I love the opportunity every moment to go, is this still what Laura Jane wants?
Yeah.
Is this still where I think I'm supposed to be going? Just because it was my path yesterday doesn't mean it needs to be my path today.
Yeah.
It's just a side shift and I come back. But honoring those moments and those whims gives yourself a lot of freedom.
Yes, it does.
Hmm.
And that's how you get your empowerment back.
Yeah, it all came full circle. That's
Yeah.
how we get it.
Beautiful.
Oh, Brandy, thank you for joining me today. I would love for you to share with our friend a little bit about yourself and how to get a hold of you if they like, oh, I would really like Brandy to help me too. Um, and then what's that one thing they should try right now, today, to get that empowerment back?
And the number one thing they can do today is what we talked about is that pausing, that stop, and taking a breath and observing their plate and making a decision on what they want to change. That's the one thing. It really, really does help a lot of my clients. Um, a little bit about me. I have my clinical master's degree in clinical psychology, my marriage family therapist, uh, master's degree along with my license, and I'm a doctor of psychology. And I own a center called Divine Awakening Center. And I have an amazing group, amazing team of therapists who can help you on your journey of self empowerment as well. And I have classes that I do, which is going to be one of my main focuses is group work and classes to help empower people. So you can go to our website at www.divineawakeningcenter.com and you can see all of our services, mental health, spiritual, and physical, and all the offerings that we have to help you on your journey of empowerment.
I love it. And I've been there. It's a great website. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's getting better, working on it.
Friend, I am not a mental or medical licensed professional. We are here for entertainment. Someone who wants to share how to get through life with a little bit more ease, even if it's just with a pause, that one breath, just that fresh feeling. So, thank you for joining
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.